All right, so it should be going over there.
Yeah, give us a notification.
Yeah, it did. All right, well, you guys know the deal. It's been a while, but I mean, you've been on before, so
Yeah,
casual combo, back and forth, 5-1.
it's the only way we
We
know
do our
how.
thing, and let you guys talk about whatever you got going on, and we'll just have it might be a shorter episode because I don't know. I mean, you guys are probably going to bring the heat though. With
Oh
some
yeah,
stuff to-
I've got my I don't know several theses here just to.
Nice. Well, I do have my notepad out to write down your list too, because chances are I'm going to have some homework after I get some of these movies from you guys.
I've actually got some homework to do after researching it too. So we're in the same boat.
Nice. All right, well, just give me like 5 or 10 seconds of silence, and I'll come in, do the intro, and then we'll get going. Okay.
Sounds good.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Two Peas on a Podcast. I'm so thrilled that you are here with us again this week. And I'm also very excited for the topic and for the guests. Yes, I said plural guests that I have on. So it's 3 Peas on a podcast technically this week. And it is a fun topic that my guest came up with that was a bit of a challenge for me. We were talking about that pre-recording. But it was a lot of fun, and it makes me want to revisit a lot of stuff from my childhood. So there's something to be said for that because I'm getting old. I need to kind of feel young again. Well, let's say hello to Steve and Izzy from Everything I Learned from Movies. 2 of my favorites, 2 veterans in the podcasting game, and they're back on the Peas. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. If you hear weird noises in the background, it's just our pets.
Yeah. He's the 4th P, I guess, this episode. He'll just kind of come in. And...
Mr. Sushi, our 10-month-old, 55-pound puppy.
Sure. Well, that's cute. There's nothing wrong with that. We love doggies on the broadcast too.
More peas for free.
Oh. Woo! Oh. He puts the P in peas.
Yeah. Why don't you tell him, Steve? Now, I hit you up on Twitter a few weeks ago, and we've been wanting to get together again since I came back from my hiatus. And I said, hey, man, I got to get you over here. We got to do a countdown. And you recently did something on your show back in November. You had an entire month that you kind of dedicated to what we're talking about tonight. Why don't you tell everyone what the top 5 is tonight?
Yeah, top 5 dinosaur movies, because we did Dino-November this past November, and we're doing it again in about 11 months. So got more to look forward to there. But yeah, I mean, since I was a little kid, just love dinosaurs. I mean, Jurassic Park coming out when I was like, 12 was, perfect. I was already a dinosaur nerd before then and just kind of grew ever since. And is he kind of the same way, right?
Yeah, I mean, you grew up in the land of dinosaurs here in Utah.
That's true. That also helped, I'm sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I've always loved dinosaurs. They're amazing. I particularly, you guys may see some on my list. I've always had a soft spot for the claymation dinosaurs.
Oh, okay. Cool. Very cool. Well, yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the research and compiling the list up front before we get into the top 5. So, like I said, for me, it's like super nostalgia heavy with the exception of maybe 1. And I've only got 2 honorable mentions tonight. So I've got 7 films that I'll mention. But when you guys did Dino-November and just your whole research for that, I can imagine was pretty intricate. So what was it like for you kind of coming up with your top 5 favorite dinosaur movies? Was it like a hard list to kind of narrow down, or was it pretty easy because you just went through it?
Oh, Gerald, you think we put so much thought into months and themes and lists and
a little peek behind the curtain.
Go with the heart, baby.
Our deep research into most of our themes are pulling it up on something like Tubi, pulling up a movie that we want to do, and then checking out the viewers also watched.
Sure.
By the way, you'd be shocked at how many 1989 underwater monster movies there are.
Yeah.
I can imagine. There's so much crazy. And you mentioned Tubi, and we have a lot of good friends that love Tubi. Oh, yeah. And so many cool underground movies that are just like you see the title or the poster and you're just like, this exists? Like, what is this?
Oh, trust me, we were considering do we really need other streaming services when we have Tubi?
We've 100% talked about getting rid of everything and just having Tubi.
That's awesome.
Got
That's
these student
great.
loans to pay off. Maybe that'll go a good way towards it. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that'll
mouse
definitely
doesn't-
help for sure.
The mouse and Daddy Bezos don't need more of our money.
Yeah.
You know who does need our money? The Roof Tracks guys.
Without a doubt. Well, for me, it's nostalgia. So it's going to hit home. And I was kind of surprised when I was putting my list together because, there's a couple movies that are quote unquote modern, like in the last 10 years. But other than that, it's like when I was growing up, and I mean, as a kid for the most part, Jurassic Park, similarly to what you said, Steve, kind of hit at the right time for me.
Yeah.
I was, a young adult at that point, but there's just something about dinosaurs as a kid, right? Like I don't.
Yeah,
So you
it's
guys,
like
what do you
real
think the
dragons.
psyche there is?
Yeah.
Like it's just the thing for young kids. Love dinosaurs. It's just
Yeah.
is that weird or no? I don't. What is
Dinosaurs
that?
and trains.
Yeah. It's basically just these big giant animals that are basically like dragons. Like we know so little about them, so our imaginations kind of
But they
wander
were
and stuff.
real.
And yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And so that basically take all that and I guess kind of the weird thing of it is like dinosaurs kind of came up around the same time as like movies started coming up, like basic bare bones stuff back at the turn of the century or whatever. Then the last century, it's just we've learned more and grown more, and science has found out so much more. So it's like you can kind of see the evolution of like they got dinosaurs in like King Kong 1933 to
Sure.
King Kong 2005 or whatever the Peter Jackson one was, and it's like, yeah, man, I don't know. It's kind of a weird way it's kind of grown along with the medium of movies,
Yeah, you're right. It's funny too. I have two young sons. I have a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they're both pretty into dinosaurs. My little one definitely right now is starting to really kind of connect with that. Just dinosaurs and pop culture and whatever's on Disney Plus and that kind of stuff. But one other thing I noticed too is like if you go to these museums, like we have a membership to a local museum here, and then we'll take the train into like other cities that are close by, and we'll go to like the science museums, and like if there's not a dinosaur exhibit, you're lame.
Yeah,
like
there's
you
no fucking
absolutely
fun.
have to have a dinosaur exhibit.
Yeah, we have. I mean, okay. So I grew up in Ogden, Utah. We have the Eccles Dinosaur Park, where there's 50 or 60 life-size dino statues out that you can like walk amongst, not like jump on its back or anything, but walk around and see them real size.
Oh,
plus there's the museum inside where it has like the real bones of
this
like
little
30 others.
this little tiny like children's museum. It's like half the size of a Costco. It's it's good size, but it's not gigantic.
Sure.
Has more real dinosaurs than most museums like in an entire city combined.
Yeah. Plus within an
Wow.
hour we have the Museum of Natural History there in Salt Lake. We have the Museum of Ancient Life, which is basically an extension of it with even more prehistoric stuff. And go a couple hours east, there's Vernal, where there's Dinosaur National Monument. Like
Steve,
we live in Dino Land, baby.
It's almost like we're in the middle of the Dinosaur Diamond.
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
That's right.
Look it up if you want a road trip.
Dinosaur Diamond. Okay.
Dinosaur Diamond.
Because I'm all the way on the East Coast, so I don't know anything about that. Is it?
So it's a road trip through a couple of states, but it goes through national parks and major museums that all have really like extensive dinosaur either like collections or quarries. So like there's, for example, did you know there's a dinosaur national monument?
I did not know that.
It's part of the national park system.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So what we did for my 40th birthday is a nice little 12-day road trip, kind of going all down through it and back, and
that's really sweet.
Highly recommend it.
I love it. I love it. Well, it sounds like you guys have the background, you have the pedigree to do this list. So why don't we get into it? I'm going to now we were talking pre-recording, but you each have a list.
Of course.
We do.
You each have your top 5. So I'm going
to guess
pull up
our
my
lists
notes.
are all relatively similar, just since we're all similar in age.
Yeah.
I would think so, but I don't know. You guys make me nervous because I feel like you have all these like you were mentioning Tubi. Like I feel like you have all these movies I've probably never even heard of, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will be a lot of crossover. We'll see. But I'll let you guys.
Dinosaur Hotel may not be in the top 5.
What?
We'll see.
What about Dinosaurs versus Cowboys, Steve?
I mean, spoilers.
Yikes. Who wants to go first? I got Steve. I got your name on here first. You want to go first?
Sure.
All right, man. What's your number 5, buddy?
My number 5 is a fairly new one. Oh god, I think it was 2017 or 18. It's a Velocipaster. It is the story of a pastor who sees his parents die in a incredible special effect explosion in front of him. It's basically just an ode to like exploitate like 70s and 80s exploitation movies, and just he goes on a trip to China while he's grieving, gets pricked with a dragon tooth or something they call it, and yeah, he basically turns into a dinosaur like a werewolf. Yeah, it's amazing. Check it out, guys.
Yes, this is one that I have seen.
The director, correct?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, writer director Brendan Steer. We got to interview him shortly after it came out on Amazon, and guys, Velocipaster 2 just got funded on Kickstarter, so it's coming soon.
He promised you a role in it.
That's right.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Empty promise.
You say fingers crossed. Try to get in contact. He said I could be a pterodactyl.
Steve, do you remember how we got that interview?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Our friend's cat is Instagram famous, and apparently the director is a huge fan of our friend's cat. Shout out to a cat named Bean. And my friend was like, "Hey, I've been chatting with this director guy. Would you like to have him on your podcast?" So he did it as a favor to an internet cat.
That is great. The cats, you gotta bow down to the cats. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
There's a reason they were worshipped in Egypt, I guess. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah. Velocipaster is on my list too. It's in my honorable mentions, though. It just missed my top 5. But this is one that I have seen. I love for the campiness of it. And I love there's definitely never been anything like it. It's just such a unique premise, and I could see sequels. That makes sense. There's a sequel coming out,
and there's so many odes to like Miami Connection and stuff too, which is of course top 5 movies of all time, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nicely done. All right, so Velocipaster is Steve's number 5. Izzy, what do you have at number 5?
My number 5 is one that I know a lot of people grew up with. I did not grow up with it. I did not see it till I was an adult. So that's the only reason why it's like a little bit lower, just because it doesn't have the nostalgia factor for it. But I love Prehysteria.
This is one that I'm familiar with, but I have not seen. I'll just go ahead and come clean and let you know there.
Oh, Steve, what year is Prehysteria?
93. I think it came out like a month after Jurassic Park. It's from was it Charles Band? Full Moon was it Full Moon Entertainment or whatever it's called? Full Moon Pictures, whatever. Yeah, it's a little claymation, like super children's. I think it was the number 1 rental that year of 93 because, Jurassic Park didn't come out till 94.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I want to see dinosaurs.
But basically the dad is a paleontologist. Mom has passed away. The older daughter and younger son are along for the ride. Oh, and their dog.
Yes,
they're very cute golden retriever. They the rich, mean owner of the dinosaur museum, that's a trope for a reason, apparently goes to China goes to Peru and gets cursed dinosaur eggs. They bring it back to the museum. The dog accidentally brings the dinosaur eggs home. Shenanigans ensue.
Wow, this sounds amazing. I gotta be honest.
I
know of this one. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah. I'm gonna
give the dog
2
a treat
sequels.
real quick.
It's all 3 of them. All the sequels too are on. Was it Peacock? I think they're on Peacock. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, check them out.
So Prehysteria from the 90s is Izzy's number 5. Now, look, I said, Steve, I told you up front, man, it's like childhood nostalgia, right? This is a kind of a later animated film, but I can remember having it on DVD and just kind of being enamored with it because it was kind of, it was post the whole Pixar thing, but it was still kind of unique in its own way. And like I said, as young dudes, we love dinosaurs for whatever reason. So it's Disney's Dinosaur from 2000.
That is actually a blind spot of mine. I have not seen that one.
Wow, that's surprising. I know. Me, actually.
Like I've had Disney Plus for years and all that, just never like pulled watching Dinosaur. I think it came out right when I graduated, so it was like I got other things to worry about.
Well, that's cool. That surprises me though, because this is I don't know if I'd say one of the I don't know. I feel like it's one of the more accessible ones. Like, I mean, you can watch it on Disney Plus now, and anybody could just turn the TV on and check this one out. But it's a really touching story too about, it's right when the meteorite hits, which, we all know from history or whatever. And this dinosaur kind of his whole family is gone and he's by himself. So he kind of gets adopted by other types of animals and kind of is raised by different wildlife. And it's how he adapts and kind of makes friends with all these different walks of life. So it has kind of a little bit of a hidden message in it as well. But the animation was really cool at the time. It was kind of like the best things we had seen from like the Pixar era, but with dinosaurs, which was really cool. Nice. So it did have that lifelike kind of like animation to it. So it's not like super well revered, I don't think, but I just have really fond memories of this movie when it came out in 2000 and having it on DVD and so on. So that's my number 5. Izzy, have you seen Dinosaur? Steve said it was a blind spot for him.
I have not seen Dinosaur, and I've not seen The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, same.
Wow. Yeah, The Good Dinosaur didn't make my list. I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but this one I did enjoy. So that's my number 5, Dinosaur from 2000. Such a clever title, too.
Out of nowhere. You don't even know what you're getting.
All right, Steve, you're up next, man. What's your number 4?
My number 4, I think came out around 95. Again, it was one of those that was like, I think it was made in 93 and they sat on it for like a year and a half and just waited. But it's been re-released with a gory cut on Shudder and Vinegar Syndrome thing. It's Tammy and the T-Rex starring babyface Paul Walker and Denise Richards. Terry Kaiser, everybody knows from Weekend at Bernie's. He's in it. Just a fantastically weird movie about a teenage boy who's, killed by a classmate / jealous ex-boyfriend of Denise Richards.
I mean, technically he got killed by a tiger.
Yeah. But then his brain is transplanted into a robot dinosaur that a mad scientist is using, and hijinks ensue.
Dude, this is an absolute gem of a film. I absolutely love this movie. It's higher on my list. It's with Jurassic Park existing, just being a movie that exists, it's hilarious to me that this is the first movie that came to mind when you pitched me the topic.
Well, let's just say, like, you'll see with our list, it's like not necessarily the best dinosaur movies. It's like top 5 favorite dinosaur movies to like everybody involved. Because I mean, there's Jurassic Park in the sequels, and there's everything else, kind of.
Right, pretty much, yeah, for sure. But I'll hold my commentary on this one because it's coming up on my list. But I love Tammy and the T-Rex. So great pick, man. It's your number 4. Izzy, you want to go next? What's your 4?
I do just want to say one of my favorite lines from Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't I see you in a movie? You did not see the movie she was in.
It's so good. Just so stupid and good. I love it so much.
My number 4 is one that I think I'm pretty sure I saw it as a kid, probably just late night, whatever, and then came to our attention, I think, a couple of Dinovembers ago. Dinosaurus.
Oh, yes.
Because again, soft spot for the claymation dinosaurs.
Another one I don't know. What was the year on this?
1960
or
like 62, something like that.
63.
Yeah, it's
there's a tropical island. There's a bar owner with a slave boy, orphan boy, ?
Little Julio.
Little Julio. I just want to call him Pepe for some reason. I don't know, but yeah. And then some like white explorers, and they go up a mountain and they find a fully frozen caveman, and they bring him back. And then there's a big storm. The caveman accidentally gets left in the rain. He defrosts. Shenanigans ensue, and then also there's a couple of dinosaurs that get defrosted, a T-Rex and a Brontosaurus. And little Julio makes friends with the Brontosaurus. They become best friends, and everybody's got to get together to stop the T-Rex.
Wow. Yeah. Another one that just sounds like too good to be true, but I just haven't seen it.
For sure, you can easily find the Riff Tracks version, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Oh, God, that would be stellar. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I knew having you guys on, there would be some homework, so I'm looking forward to it. So there you go.
I just love that stupid movie so much. Like, this movie would have been perfectly fine with just people finding a frosted caveman, but we're going to throw some dinosaurs into it too.
So Dinosaurus from the 1960s. Yeah. There you go. It's your number 4. My number 4 might be a bit of a surprise. It's a modern pick. It's from 2014. Ironically, I started my list with 2000 Disney. That was kind of like right in the height of Pixar kind of taking over the world. Well, this is Pixar, but it's Toy Story That Time Forgot. It's a short film. It was a holiday short film that Pixar released in the Toy Story franchise. Are you familiar with this one?
No. Oh.
So this is also on Disney Plus. It's only about 30 minutes long, but they did this one and they did a Halloween one, and they released them like in the same year. So the Halloween one's really cool too. But that's I can't remember what it's
No
called.
dinosaurs
But
in that
it's
one. No, I was kidding.
no dinosaurs in that one. Well, there are because Rex is in all the Toy
yeah.
Story stuff. But
True.
so the Toy Story That Time Forgot is a really cool movie that takes place on the day after Christmas. And Bonnie takes Rex and Woody and Buzz and a lot of her other toys to her neighbor's house. And this young boy that's like 10 years old just got all these like, Xbox and just all this like electronic stuff. And he also got this really, really cool, elaborate dinosaur like playset. But he's ignoring it because he has all the electronics. So there's 2 dinosaurs that are Bonnie's toys that are there, and they meet these like they're kind of like intimidated by these dinosaur toys that are big and muscular and everything. And so they kind of like enter that world and they start trying to find out how to survive in that world, because those dinosaurs, the toys that the little boy had, they think like that's real life. Do you know what I mean? Like they think they really are dinosaur warriors or whatever.
They were raised in the jungle.
And of course, all the Toy Story toys know that they're toys, so it's a cool dynamic. And I highly, highly recommend. I think you guys would really like it. It's like I said, it's less than a half hour. You can watch it on Disney Plus, but it's Toy Story That Time Forgot. That's my number 4. Yeah, my kids love it too.
And 30 minutes is like just perfect for a premise where it's like, it's just Toy Story's going back to dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Cool, done.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, Toy Story with more dinosaurs. Why not? So that's my number 4. I know it's a bit of a cheat because it's a short film, but like whatever. I love it. So there's a lot of dinosaurs in it. A lot of toy dinosaurs, but
Hey,
we do what we do to round out these lists, guys. All right, Steve, you're up next, man. What you got at number 3, buddy?
Number 3, I got one from my childhood that I used to have like a VHS tape. I think it was 86 when it came out. It's called Baby Secret of the Lost Legend. Are you familiar with this one, Gerald?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The title is Baby Secret of the Lost Legend. That's the title?
Yeah, it's like Baby Secret of the Lost Legend.
I definitely am not aware of this one.
All right. Well, it stars William Catt, aka the Greatest American Hero, and Sean Young, like post Blade Runner, pre Ace Ventura.
Wow.
There are a couple. What is it? They're doing. I think they're doing a. That's right.
They're anthropologists.
Anthropologists. They're in Africa and they're researching the legend of Mokele Mobimbe, which is basically a sauropod. Like a brontosaurus. It's believed to be in the Congo,
the
or
local
whatever.
Cryptid. They're saying if there's any truth to it,
and they're finding bones, and it's like okay, blah blah blah. But then they find a mommy and a daddy dinosaur, Mokele Mobimbe, but they also have a little baby. And unfortunately, there's other guys trying to like not necessarily poach the dinosaurs, but like take them and King Kong
they're poaching them. Yeah.
I mean,
they're illegally taking them from their habitat.
Tranquilize them, take them to wherever to sell them for billions of dollars and viewings and all that fun stuff. But they end up killing the dad, and I think they trank the mom or whatever, so taken off.
And she's like injured too.
Yeah. But they have to take care of the baby and also rescue the mom because you can't raise a dinosaur as 2 people being chased by warlords in Africa. Hijinks ensue. Oh, and the bad guy in this movie is King Longshanks or whatever from Braveheart. So
okay,
so that's kind of cool. But just a great little flick from the 80s. It's on Blu-ray. I know I've got my Blu-ray of it, but
If you don't have your Blu-ray,
Baby Secret of the Lost Legend. You said this is 90s?
86, 87, something like that.
Oh,
Like I was
okay.
like a 5 or 6 year old when it came out, and it's like it's not claymation. It's like
puppetry.
puppetry. Yeah,
Yeah.
like giant life size like animatronics and stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Another one to add to the list for me. So there you go. That was Steve's number 3, Baby Secret of the Lost Legend. Izzy, what do you have for your number 3?
One that I'm not gonna lie, I actually haven't watched since I was a kid, so I probably need to see if it holds up. But something I remember catching on TV a bunch, and it was something that me and my sister could agree on because my younger sister, was a horse girl. Everything had to be horses. In fact, she grew up to be a horse breeder and trainer. She has like 19 horses up in Idaho. Movie that had both dinosaurs and horses. From 1969, Valley of the Gwangi. It is Ray Harryhausen, the stop motion claymation dinosaurs. It's probably most of the scenes you think of when you think of like the dinosaurs fighting, like the claymation dinosaurs fighting. But it's about a stuntman who's sort of down on his luck, and he hears that there's miniature horses up in this valley, so he rides up to go catch some to use in his stunt show. And lo and behold, the valley is not full of miniature horses; it's full of dinosaurs.
Wow.
Hijinks ensue.
Hijinks definitely ensue, it sounds like. I love the growing list for my homework here. I got to be honest. Valley of the Gwangi. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Valley of Gwangi, Gwangi, 1969.
Just so you know, I was pretty close. I had O. Another one.
Oh, nice.
Sushi, come on, buddy.
Come on, buddy.
Sushi is
Mr.
either in
Sushi.
favor of or has something to say about that pick.
He says, "I don't know why I've not seen this. Also, why are none of the cats my friend? Is it because I'm 5 times their size and try and tackle them?"
I love it. All right, so that was your number 3.
Yes.
My number 3 is a film that I probably saw for the first time when I was maybe 12, 13 years old. It was kind of like too tough to really be affected by something emotional. And then I saw this. It was The Land Before Time from 1988.
That's my number 2.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen this in way too long, and I want to revisit it with my young boys, and I'm probably going to do that very, very soon because when I was making this list, I was like, it's been probably 10 or 15 years since I saw this. But the memories of seeing it as a young boy and just being affected by it and such a beautiful story, such really cool hand-drawn animation.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of them Don Bluth movies. He
Yeah.
knows how to make a traumatic child's movie, that's for sure.
Right? Pull out
no
that.
doubt.
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
We're Back, a Dinosaur
We're Back,
Story.
a Dinosaur Story. Rockadoodle.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Look, if you've been traumatized by Chanticleer, you've not lived.
That's right. You had a sheltered childhood, if not. Yeah. So The Land Before Time, maybe one of the more popular dinosaur films. I feel like maybe on the tip of everyone's tongue, with the exception of like the Jurassic Park films. But it's
I'd
in the
recommend
zeitgeist.
watch the second one too, with Chomper.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But this one just really affected me, and I have such fond memories of it. So there you go. The Land Before Time is my number 3, and we are up to our runner-ups. Steve, you're up first, man.
My number 2 was Land Before Time, though. I don't know. Would we recommend watching the other? Was it 15 or 16 sequels?
I think there were 17.
Yeah, something
There's
nuts.
a lot.
I mean, we did review the one where they get visited by aliens on our podcast.
That's number 7, I think, like Stone of Ice and Fire or something like that. Yeah, it's yeah, and they made 10 more after that, so who knows where it goes.
Well, I mean, that proves the point, though, what we've been talking about early on. It's like kids and dinosaurs. It's just they're going to watch it. They're going to gravitate towards it.
Well, that's just
so
it.
Why
You
not
show
do 100 sequels,
Yeah, you show your kids that first one, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I want to see more. And you're going to be like, all right, let's watch these sequels.
Here we go. Yeah. We have the next 4 years of your life planned out.
So many musical numbers. And
oh, yeah.
So there you go. The Land Before Time. And that was your 2
Yep.
Steve, Izzy, you said it was your 2 as well.
That was also mine. I to be I'll be totally honest. I love all the Don Bluth animation.
Mhm.
Like all the storylines are traumatizing as hell, but the animation is absolutely gorgeous.
She even loves Troll in Central Park or whatever it was.
Was oh, it's not a
Not a gnome named
gnome
Norm.
named Gnorm.
No, that's a Stan Winston movie. Also fantastic.
Well, we're having a little bit of crossover here, but mine. So that's y'all's number 2. You share Land Before Time. There, it was my number 3. My number 2 is Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you two know this, but a lot of my listeners will know as well. I'm a horror guy. I'm a horror fanatic. I love these schlocky, really campy horror films. I like the serious kind of like indie ones as well, but I really love the schlocky horror when it just is self-aware and it just knows that it's just crazy as shit.
Yeah.
And it's just out for just like, let's have a good time. You know, it's not taking itself too seriously. And I feel like this movie is one of the best at that. You have a young Denise Richards and Paul Walker, just absolutely like we get to see them before they're like mega stars, which, you know, Paul Walker, rest in peace. But I mean, they both became just larger than life. And it's just really cool to look back and see, you know, similarly when you look back like Jennifer Aniston and Leprechaun, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you know, that's what they were doing before when they were trying to get a job, you know.
Was it like 5 years later? She was a Bond girl, and he was the face of a movie franchise that has number 10 coming out later this year. 5 years post mortem. I mean,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
and
nuts.
and you mentioned Terry Kaiser. I mean, how great is he in this movie? Like, it's
He's over
weird
the
because
top amazing.
it's weird because it's like, I don't know. It was such a delicate balance because like I get the impression when I'm watching the movie, like he does not want to be there. Like he's kind of like phoning it in, but at the same time, like when he's doing it, he's doing it. You know what I mean? Like he's really like trying
He's
to
a professional.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just such a campy performance and just a crazy premise. You know, the like graphic version or whatever you want to call it. That's on Shudder. I can't remember what they're calling it, but
the gory cut or something.
Gory cut. Yeah. It's really cool to see from like a horror perspective. But you were mentioning Tubi, and the original's on Tubi as well. So if you like that kind of like 80s horror, that because this was in 94, but it has the feel of like an 80s horror movie.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes movies, it's almost like they don't realize what year they're being made in. I think
it totally
Tammy
has a
and
Killer
T-Rex is one of those.
Clowns from Outer Space vibe to it.
Yeah, for sure. I could talk about this movie all day, but I love it so much. It's my runner-up, Tammy and the T-Rex. There you go. So we are up to our number 1s, guys. Had a little bit of crossover there on the runner-ups, but that's okay. What do we got at number 1? Steve, you want to go first?
I'd be surprised if we don't have any crossover.
I'm going to guess all 3 of us may have the same one.
I'm thinking.
Let's see, 1993, released in that summer. Carnosaur from Roger Corman. No, obviously, Jurassic Park, 1993. Like, they destroyed dinosaur movies forever by making the perfect one and then doing 5 sequels. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the first half of Lost World is pretty good, too. But the second, once they get, like, to San Diego and stuff, I'm out.
I don't know. The first half of it still has Taylor Leone.
That's the third one.
That's the third one. That's right. It's the third one.
No, the worst thing about the first half of Lost World is Jeff Goldblum.
That's
right. And he's still not that bad.
It's nothing
maybe it's Jim's daughter. I don't know.
Still pretty good, yeah. Well, it's my number 1 too. Izzy is your number 1 too, yeah?
Yeah.
It should be everyone's number 1.
My dad looks like the professor.
What? You were talking about
Hammond?
Richard Attenborough or whatever?
Yeah, my dad looks like Richard Attenborough.
I don't know why you would insult Richard Attenborough like that, but...
you're right. My dad looks like if him and Jack Nicholson had a weird baby. Tell me I'm wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But,
Come on, AI, figure that one out.
Look, if anybody out there hasn't seen Jurassic Park, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, what else can we say about this movie, though? Where does it fall for you guys as far as Spielberg's concerned?
Oh, it's my favorite Spielberg movie.
Yeah, it's like top 5 all time for me. So
yeah. I mean, it's that and for me, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but I'm a weirdo. But it's Jurassic Park is a classic monster movie.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's face it, any dinosaur movie should be a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, they're not nice creatures, I assume. It's not like they're going to make us
They
tea and
turned into
crumpets.
birds.
It's not good. Theodore Rex is not how it would be. Like, they're not
Ugh.
going to be making sandwiches.
I don't know. Theodore Rex is pretty horrifying in its own way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's Jaws. You guys see the poster behind me. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
That's an
That's in
excellent
my
one.
top 5. But Jurassic Park's definitely in the top 5 for Spielberg. And I mean, just revolutionary. I mean, there obviously was stuff, before Jurassic Park in terms of dinosaur cinema, but just the right time with those special effects, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
Yeah.
it still holds up, because I feel like if that movie had been made 5 years earlier, we might not be able to say that. It might not be as revered and impactful as it is today. So it
Be
came at the
discussed
right
like
time.
other Michael Crichton movies, like Timeline or Sphere.
Runaway.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, that was it, guys. That was our top 5 dinosaurs. Well, I said movies featuring dinosaurs, but we went for it. We did our top 5 dinosaur movies, I think. Yeah, there was a couple mentioned on social media that we'll talk about in a minute that kind of featured dinosaurs, which I thought were pretty cool shout outs. But let's take a quick break, guys. And when we come back, we will do that. We'll head over to social media and see what the fans had to say. And then we'll see what honorable mentions these guys brought. I've only got 2 that didn't quite crack my top 5 that I want to mention. But we will be right back and we'll take care of that. Everybody sit tight. All right. You guys doing good? You okay?
Yeah. Sorry, the puppy is wanting
Restless.
all of our attention.
Yeah.
I slipped
No,
in one
you're
of those calming chews, so
Oh,
he should fall asleep about after the podcast.
there we go.
All right. Give me like 5-10 seconds. I'll come back in. We'll do the honorable. Well, I'll have you wrap up your 5s. We'll do the honorables and then we'll head over to Facebook and wrap up.
Excellent.
Yaney, you guys know Chris Yaney. He wants to know what I'm drinking. It's the Sam Adams Winter Lager.
Ooh, nice.
Steve, what are we drinking?
Oh, we got from Utah Brewing here in Ogden, Utah, a JP Porter, I think a Jean Paul Porter, something like that.
That you almost spilled all over your computer.
Growler. Yeah, well, some of it definitely got there. Oh, would you like some more, my beautiful wife? All right, here we go.
Yaney, you missed it, but when Steve cracked this open before we started recording, it like
exploded.
It came out and like went all over his keyboard and shit. It was intense.
It was a full 3D experience.
Yeah. all the senses were engaged at that point.
Mostly the rage senses.
Yeah, rage and cold crotch, all the important stuff.
Yaney says he had a JP last week.
Ooh.
Oh,
Nice. All right, guys, give me like 5-10 seconds. I'll come back in. We'll wrap up. Welcome back, guys. As I said pre-break, my buddy Steve and Izzy from Everything I Learned from Movies are here this week. They've been on the show before, and they're back. We just talked about our favorite dinosaur movies. I had thrown up a call to action. I said movies featuring dinosaurs, but F it, guys. We just did straight up dinosaur movies. I think we did pretty well there. So let's remind everybody what we had on our list. Steve, would you just want to recap your top 5 again real quick, buddy?
Yeah, number 5 had Velocipaster. Number 4, Tammy and the T-Rex. 3, Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend. Number 2, The Land Before Time, the original, of course. And number 1, Jurassic Park.
Killer list, dude. Izzy, what was your top 5 again?
Prehistoria, Dinosaurus, Valley of Gwangi, Land Before Time, and Jurassic Park.
Awesome list. And my top 5 was Dinosaur from 2000, the Disney animated film. My number 4 was the Disney short film, Toy Story, That Time Forgot. Number 3 was The Land Before Time. Number 2 was Tammy and the T-Rex. And number 1, Jurassic Park. Is anyone shocked? There we go. Triple crossover. I guess I saw that coming, though. If we wanted to get cute, we could have been like top 5 dinosaur movies except for Jurassic Park, but I didn't want to do that because we should have had a love fest for it,
That's actually how I approach the list, is like if I were doing a top 5 without those 6 movies, like how it would do. But
we talked about it and we're like, should we just like not mention Jurassic Park because does it need to be mentioned at this point?
Right, Carnosaur number 1.
I mean, Come on, Jurassic Park. Strong female lead, like strong female characters. The T-Rex is both the villain and the hero, and it's a
Yeah.
girl.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's
Is
got
that
those
Jennifer
horror
Lawrence?
elements in it too. Yeah, right. We didn't even mention the horror elements that are built into Jurassic
Oh
Park.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Clever.
All right, so like I said, I've got 2 honorables that I just want to shout out. What about you guys? What didn't make your top 5 that you want to mention real
Steve's
quick?
got a binder for
Yeah,
us.
it's
Oh,
not
wow.
as many as I thought it might be, but I actually do like Carnosaur, the one that
Yeah.
beat Jurassic Park by a month, directed by Roger Corman. It's just such a weird, like, there's so many unanswered questions. It's basically the whole plot of it is Diane Ladd, former Bond girl, is a doctor who's hired to genetically make the perfect chicken. But instead, she decides she's going to reverse engineer chickens to dinosaurs so that
Mhm.
then they can inherit the earth.
Yeah.
And then the only person that can stop them is a guy that looks like Wings Hauser, but he's a night watchman named Doc at a quarry who apparently is also a doctor in geology, but watches brain surgery videos to relax at night when he's
Yep.
had a few beers.
There's hippies who don't like the quarry.
Yeah, it's just a nutso thing. There's like romantic interest thrown in, and she's like looking through his thing and finds like these like serial killer drawings that he has, but that's never mentioned again. Like she just kind of tucks it aside when it's like, oh, sorry, I wasn't looking around your trailer. Anyway,
Greetings, Green Brother.
oh god, yeah. and it's Tammy and the T-Rex gory cut. Like there are
Oh
some
yeah,
great
there are
kills.
some kills.
Oh wow, I gotta check that out then. Okay.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
else
you
you got?
like Carnosaur and Carnosaur 3.
Yeah, the third one's pretty ridiculous too. It's basically just it's basically, hey, there's this military base got taken over. Oh, it's dinosaurs.
It's a first-person shooter, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll take
what
it.
else? Yeah, Dinosaurs you mentioned, Village of the Guanji. Theodore Rex is pretty bad as a movie is concerned. I'm not gonna lie.
But everybody should watch it just so they can see what happened.
Yeah, and as far as blind spots, I had a couple of blind spots. Obviously, Dinosaur and the Good Dinosaur. Looking things up, there's apparently this 2012 movie called Dinosaur Project, and apparently it's like I think it's like it might even be like an asylum movie, like just a very low budget whatever. But it's like a found footage dinosaur movie somehow.
Oh wow, interesting.
So I'm kind of intrigued by that
Me too.
concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Steve,
me
don't
too.
forget Walking with Dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, Walking with Dinosaurs. It's basically like a documentary kind of thing, but yeah, it's fantastic
Okay.
too.
Izzy, do you have any honorables that you want to shout out that didn't make your top 5?
I think he hit most of them. So
Okay. Well, the only 2 I wanted to mention, we already talked about Velocipaster. It would have been my number 6. And then my number 7 is the other Jurassic Park movie that I feel like is pretty good. I think it's the second best in the franchise, which is Jurassic World from 2015. We kind of got a return to form there. Chris Pratt gets introduced to the franchise, and I don't know, the action sequences and the special effects kind of finally, the story kind of finally was cohesive for an entire film, which had not really happened since the original at that point, in my opinion. So there's things that I don't like about it, but I think it's one of the better entries aside from the original, at least.
But it's better than Jurassic World Dominion, which is absolutely insane and just stupid fun action movie. But
yes.
Gerald, I have to ask, what do you know about the upcoming movie 65?
I've seen it talked about a little bit, but very little. I feel like I
saw
a
your tweet, babe.
Possibly. Well, okay, so it stars Adam Driver.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely not interested because it's a number 65 starring Adam Driver, but it's probably some pretentious blah 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 blah. Apparently, he's an astronaut who's in the not too distant future, traveling through space with like other people in hypersleep or whatever. Crash lands on a planet. Spoiler alert, it's 65 million years ago, and they're on Earth when there's dinosaurs, and he's got to like find the survivors, and so it's gonna be dinosaurs and laser beams, and I'm fucking in.
Yeah, me too. I feel like they did a trailer recently, right? It was like a teaser.
Yeah. That's how I found out it was dinosaurs because I
feel like I saw that. Yeah, no, that looks good, and I love Adam Driver. So yeah, I'm like you. I'll give it a go for sure.
Some people like Adam Driver, babe. It's okay.
I know somebody has to.
All right, I tell you what. We round out every episode by heading over to social media and see what the fans had to say, which is probably going to be a lot of echo of what we mentioned. But let's just see what they had to say over there. So I said, "What is your favorite movie featuring dinosaurs?" Is how I phrased it over there
Super
in
Mario
the old
Brothers.
suggestion box. Patron and friend of the show, Michael Hill, says, "I don't know how it is not Jurassic Park." And we agree, Michael, it is Jurassic Park. Tony Dobbish, patron and friend of the show, says Velocipaster and Tammy and the T-Rex.
Whoop whoop.
We
Choices.
agree there too. Hey, Drew Hallam, you guys know that dude.
Hey, I know that guy.
I love Drew. His top 5 would be Jurassic Park, Tammy and the T-Rex, the Flintstones, Velocipaster, and Dino Riders. What do you think?
Dino Riders.
The cartoon from like the late 80s.
Yeah, I think
I
he
mean,
was saying
look,
it was
if
like
we're
a
gonna
TV movie.
talk shows, then I definitely need to bring up Terra Nova.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Terra Nova was pretty cool. Or Dinosaurs. That cartoon was nuts.
Yeah, for sure. Lindsay Dunn, friend of mine, says Velocipaster. And then she says, and of course, Jurassic Park. A lot of shout outs for Jurassic Park. How about this? How about Jared Taylor, patron of the show, says Mrs. Doubtfire. What do you think?
Is there a dinosaur in that movie?
I don't know. Is there?
I mean,
Is he talking about Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah, so are we
No.
calling Pierce Brosnan a dinosaur now?
Sally Field, maybe?
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah,
I'll have to come
I'm
back
trying
to
to
that.
remember like just Robin Williams just like doing an off
Maybe
comment,
playing with
or
dinosaurs or something. I don't know. Yeah. But I did say featuring dinosaurs, to be fair. So.
I'm gonna Google it. Keep going with the list.
Okay, Christiani, patron and friend of the show, says Iron Sky, The Coming Race, Velocipaster, and Land Before Time 10, which was the one with Kiefer Sutherland.
That's right. Iron Sky did have dinosaurs. It was a Kung Fury or whatever. I think there were dinosaurs in that too.
That's right, yeah. Let's see. Toy Story, We're Back, and Baby Secret of the Lost Legend from Brad Hargis. So there's another baby
Good pull,
secret
Brad.
shout out there.
Oh, that's right.
What do you got?
Robin Williams does the dinosaur rap about them not eating meat and having big feet.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll take it. Yeah, Robin Williams is gold, so.
I admire the deep diving, but
Yeah, we got a couple other of those. So Lauren Scott, she mentioned she echoed my 2000s dinosaur from Disney. Dan Roski, top tier patron of the show, he said Toy Story, but then he also says On Golden Pond because Fonda was 76 and Hepburn was 74. Oh man, a little age humor there. Josh Ragland, patron of the show, says Jurassic Park, obviously. Disney's Dinosaur, The Land Before Time, and Palm Springs, which I thought was a really cool shout out. Now, there's just one scene where, did you guys see Palm Springs on Hulu a couple years ago?
no.
So it's like a sci-fi time travel kind of romantic comedy with Andy Samberg is the star.
Oh, okay.
But there's one scene where they're kind of like tripping on drugs and they see these dinosaurs in the horizon and kind of like wandering around them and stuff.
We've all been there.
But they're part of their imagination. Yeah. Last weekend, actually. Jennifer says The Land Before Time, and David Powell says Jurassic Park and Tammy and the T-Rex are the only valid answers. So there you go. I think we gave those their due this evening. So Steve and Izzy, from everything I learned from movies, big fans of you guys. You guys are two of the nicest, and I always love when you make your way back over to the show too. And you always come up with very interesting topics. So I also appreciate that. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, what you're doing? This episode's coming out I think the end of January. So just tell them whatever you want to tell them, guys. Where can they find you?
Excellent. Well, yeah, thanks for having us again. We're at Everything I Learned from Movies on all the major podcatchers. You can hit us up directly on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon at EILF Movies. That's Everything I Learned from Movies. Let's see, January, we'll be wrapping up Jean-Claude Van January and going into February.
God damn it.
We randomly picked themes out of a hat, and someone suggested Porn Month. So we're going into Porn Month for February, baby. It's going to be great.
Wow.
It's going to be hilarious, that's for sure.
How do you select the porn movies?
Oh, we let our guests select them, so we find out what their kinks are. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little insight into Steve and I. You put on a porn and we basically become the bots from MST3K.
Yeah.
We
It's,
can't.
Yeah.
We just don't take any of it seriously whatsoever.
I do like
Yeah.
that the ones they've picked so far have mostly been in the 70s, so it's going to be a lot of, you
Oh,
know,
hilarious.
I don't remember ordering
Hilarity.
this pizza with sausage, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's
Sure,
gonna be
yeah.
great. But
Absolute hilarity.
Babe, are you on social media at all?
No, I'm choking on my own spit.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I am. You can find me everywhere at Untidy Venus. That's a goddess who's bad at housekeeping. I'm on all the social medias at Untidy Venus. I sell my goods and wares over at untidyvenus.etsy.com, and I too have a Patreon over at Untidy Venus. You can watch me make art. I
Oh,
have some tutorials.
He's got it in the background.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
Steve?
it's blurry. I have the blurry filter on, but I have 2 of your art pieces behind me here.
Oh snap!
Yeah, those guys
Steve?
should check you out. I have the vampire and the mummy behind me. So
Yay! Yes, I got my movie monsters who love kittens. I got
Yep.
Pokemon who love kittens.
You've got dinosaurs.
I've got dinosaurs.
yeah, there you go.
Where can we find you?
Oh yeah, everything I learned from movies, all the major podcatchers. Check it out.
Well,
Gerald,
guys,
where
that
can we
really
find
means
you
a lot
guys?
to me.
Aw,
It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate you guys being here, and thanks again for coming on.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
thank you
Thanks for
so
having
much
us.
for having us, and thanks for letting us talk dinosaur movies.
Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. I'll be back next week. I'll have another guest and another top 5 for you. Until then, everybody take care. All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Yaney and anybody else that's watching, I'm going to end the broadcast. I love you guys, though. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for
Yeah,
having
thanks for having
us.
us, man.
Absolutely. I'll drop my email in the chat for you, Steve, and you can just send the file over whenever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a little background noise reduction thing a little bit, and then I'll send that out to you.
Wait, you're gonna cut out the dog and the cat having a fight?
Fuck, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna minimize the humming of the dog snoring or something. Yeah, it's gonna be
Sure, yeah. There's a filter for that, I think.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Well, have a good one, man.
Bye.
Pop that out.